Hello and welcome to another edition of CityTalk. My name is Tim Shaw. I'm the Government Affairs Director here at the Pacific West Association of Realtors. Today my guest is the Mayor of Whittier, Mayor Joe Vinatieri. Mayor Vinatieri, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you for allowing me to be here, Tim.
So Joe, how long have you been on the City Council in Whittier?
Well, I was elected in 2006, so what is that, 10 years now? And then of course I got elected to be the mayor here in April of just 3 months ago. It seems like it's a lot longer than that, but yeah, I just got elected as the first citywide elected mayor. We just changed the way we govern in Whittier, and so yes. We now have 4 districts and we have a citywide mayor. So I was elected to that and appreciate that. Well,
congratulations, and of course we were very proud to support you in that. And
I appreciate your support.
I wanted to ask you though, a lot of cities have been doing this. So traditionally Whittier would elect the voters would elect a city council and they would rotate annually who their mayor is. But now in Whittier, you are directly electing a mayor, which is you. So why was there that change, and then going to electing your council members just by a district instead of the whole city? What caused that change?
We went to the people. There was some discussion about districts versus voting at large for council members. So we went to the people, and the people of Whittier voted on a proposition to go to districts. And the idea was that with 4 districts, what would happen is you would have closer representation to the people in that district or those neighborhoods, and we'd elect a person in District 1 and District 3, which is what we did this past April, then a citywide elected mayor. And the idea with it, and this is what you have to be careful about when you come to district elections, is that you don't get so district oriented that you forget the best interests of the entire community. So the thought was to go to the district elections, but then to have the citywide elected mayor who's responsible for looking out for everything citywide, what's in the best interest of the total community.
What is the population of Whittier?
We're a little bit over 88,000. We're at 88,300, something like that. We're still growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, truth in advertising here. My job all through college, I worked at the Black Angus at Whitwood Mall. Yeah. I guess it's called Whitwood
Town Center. Yes. Yes.
But when I go by there, it seems to really be thriving. Am I correct?
Yeah. The Whitwood Town Center. It's a really interesting phenomenon in Whittier. And I haven't looked at the stats recently, but they did a survey here a couple years ago, and they found that I think it was like 90 or 92% of the people who purchase at the Whitwood Town Center right on Whittier Boulevard are people who live in Whittier City and Whittier County. So what that tells us is that people who live in Whittier are tremendously loyal to purchasing in the community. So they have a great built-in base, and we have, as you know, we have anywhere from different people, different housing stock, and so we have all kinds of people, and a lot of them love to just shop at the Whitwood, including me.
Well, I wanted to ask too about the schools.
Yeah.
We always like to learn about the local schools. What can you tell us about the schools in Whittier?
We're very, very proud of our schools, and we have several elementary school districts that are doing a fine job, and they feed in to the Whittier Union High School District. The Whittier High School District is one of the I think it's one of the premier districts in Southern California, and the reason why is this. They have a program there that they identify all the students, and right from the beginning, from their freshman year, and they track them to make sure that they're on track to graduate. And they get mentoring from seniors, for example. There's a mentoring program where you bring a new freshman student into Whittier High School, for example, or to Lucerna. There are students who are seniors, and they basically link up with them and help them through their career. And so we have a very, very high attendance rate and a very, very high graduation rate as a result. And in fact, it's been so good that we have the state superintendent of public instruction regularly comes down, brings people through the high schools to see how it's done so it can be used as a best practices in other places in the state.
Well, I know you have an interesting program you're doing for first-time homebuyers. I thought people should learn about that. So what can you tell us? How's that going to work?
Well, we're like a lot of cities. The governor took our redevelopment money, and we had a way of taking that money and backfilling it to encourage. We had a program called Silent Seconds, where we would find people through certain methodologies, and we would give them a silent second, and they would have home ownership. So that money is mostly gone, except we did allocate $4 million this year to a really cool project right on the city property, right on the corner was at Comstock and Penn Street, and we brought down Guilford Hall. Guilford Hall was an abandoned a 3-story structure at Whittier College, and we moved it middle of the night. It was really cool to watch how this huge, it's a beautiful, beautiful structure, and Whittier College didn't need it anymore, so we brought it down, we put it on the city property there, and now we're building homes around it, and these will be market rate homes, and you will be able to purchase a unit in Guilford Hall. But of that, there will be 9 home buyers that we've allocated this $4 million for, who will have the opportunity, who are currently renters in Whittier, and they'll have the opportunity to buy a home through it's not a lottery, but through a system that we put together to make sure that everyone has an opportunity. So we do have that going on. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I definitely wanted to ask you about Nellis. I know this has been a big issue in town. So for years and years, there was the Nellis, the California Youth Authority, kind of a juvenile hall, if I'm...
Well, it's a little more than juvenile hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that got closed by the state, and so this is a huge property right smack dab in the middle of town, and there's been development efforts there. So what can you tell us about where we're at with Nellis?
Well, so Nellis, just to, because it's Whittier, I got to give you the history. Nellis was started way back in, I think it was about 1890. It was the second youth authority rehabilitation facility. The first one was up in Northern California, just south of Sacramento. This became the second one. And the people who started Whittier understood that there needed to be somewhat of an economic base. And so the state of California came in on this property, and they opened up Nellis. Well, it wasn't called Nellis, it was a boys' school at that point in time. So over the years, Nellis has been a staple, really important part of the Whittier community, providing jobs, and there were a lot of boys who were being rehabilitated there because it was a juvenile justice facility. So the state surplused that property when the state had an issue relative to deficits, and they were trying to surplus certain properties, take that money and get rid of the deficit. So that's what happened in 2003. They closed it up, shuttered it, and here we are in 2016. It's finally in escrow. And there's a development that's been planned for it. The interesting thing about it is 72.5 acres in the middle of Los Angeles, Orange County. It's the largest prime piece of property that's unencumbered in Los Angeles County, other than, say, out in Antelope Valley. So the development possibilities are totally awesome. And so Brookfield came in, and through a bid process with the state of California and other companies, Brookfield became the company that went into escrow. So it provides great opportunities. We went through a very lengthy CEQA EIR process. It was approved with lots of changes. And it's a beautiful property, although, to be candid with you, you can't tell from Whittier Boulevard. It just has a small frontage, but it goes all the way back to PIH Hospital in the back, so it's a very huge property. So the development opportunities are great, and they put together the plan. There are 750 units there of apartments, townhomes. There's going to be one building that's 4 stories for active adult. And then there will be some commercial area right on the corner. And then there are 8 historic buildings. In the EIR process, it was determined that economically 4 of the 8 could be preserved. And so those 4 buildings, there's a great, really cool plan for it to take the administration building and make it a restaurant brewery. And some other, as they're going to call it, Heritage Court. It'll be a little bit like the Anaheim packing house, like similar to the one in Claremont, for example. So we're really excited about it, but we have a lawsuit. And the lawsuit right now has slowed things way down. And to be candid with you, I'm very disappointed with the lawsuit, because is everyone going to get everything they want? No. But under the circumstances with as many competing concerns, this is a really good project. And so I'm only hopeful that the lawsuit can be resolved, that the parties will come together and understand that what's in the best interest of the people of Whittier is to get this thing taken care of, getting it moving forward, and we'll have all new housing stock. And what it's going to do, because it's on the west side of Whittier, it will raise the property values in that whole area, and all the housing stock in both the city and the county area of Whittier is going to come up in value.
Any message you'd like to convey to realtors and who might be doing business in Whittier?
Yeah, there are two things, and what's exciting is with all this new housing stock, that's more opportunities for realtors. And we have not had the growth spurt that we're experiencing right now in many, many years. So for realtors, this is a great time, a great opportunity for them. There's also a second thing, and it's a little bit negative, and that is that we are having issues relative to our signs and a proliferation of signs for weekends and that type of thing. And we are working through it at the city council level because we have a sign ordinance. I know this is not just Whittier, it's throughout the state, and there's legislation in Sacramento. But the realtors need to know that we do have a sign ordinance. We need everyone to follow what the sign ordinance says. If we need to tweak it, if we need to do some things, we will do that. But we encourage everyone to follow the ordinance. And there are some ideas that we have to make things a little more standardized. And what we don't want to have is the clutter, which then takes away from the visual attractiveness of our community.
It's a good opportunity. I can remind people on our website, pwr.net, we have all the sign ordinances for the region posted there. So if we can, a realtor can go there and read to the letter what is required and expected of them. So appreciate that message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whittier Mayor Joe Vinatieri, it's been a pleasure having you, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.